Good evening, it's meteorologist Michael Fecka. Welcome back to the 9 p.m. all-weather, all-streaming show that we do here every night during the work days and on weekends. We stream it out to all of our streaming platforms as well as to Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So if you are joining us from either of those platforms, please feel free to leave a question or a comment down below. Hopefully, I'll be able to address them as I go through the forecast, but if not, I'll go through at the very end and see if I can address anything individually for you. So let's get started here with a look at our headlines. And really, the headline that we were really going to be talking about today was this cold front that's going to be moving in here, and it has been moving in throughout the evening and will continue to do so overnight tonight. But if you remember yesterday, we were talking about maybe that potential for an isolated strong or severe storm for this evening, and we had that first alert in effect. But earlier today, we got new model data, and it looked like that severe weather had shifted a little bit farther to our southeast. So we were able to allow that first alert to just cancel itself. So we don't have any alert time through tonight. We're just going to be expecting your typical rain and maybe a few rumbles of thunder through the overnight hours, but nothing too crazy or too impactful with that. Now, here's a current look at that front. That front is actually already pushed through the tri-state area. It's kind of anchored all the way down from Memphis and into eastern Kentucky, where you're pretty much seeing those thunderstorms light up is where that leading edge of the frontal boundary is. And there were a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. There's one lingering on there, kind of covered up by the actual front. You guys can't really see it, but that's where that severe weather risk was for today. So that kind of checks out. But if we can zoom in a little bit closer here in the tri-state, you'll see we do have some light rain that is beginning to kind of build up to our west, and that's going to slide in here over the next several hours, but I don't really think we're going to see much of any action here until after midnight when that rain finally fills in. So that's pretty much what we're looking at through the rest of this evening. Timing it all out on our future radar, we'll have mostly cloudy skies and again a few stray showers earlier on in the evening, but better chances arrive overnight, mainly after midnight and mainly for areas south of I-64. So if you're going to be along the Ohio River or into western Kentucky, you'll likely be waking up to a few light showers and then some cloud cover. However, the clouds and the rain will eventually clear out of here through Saturday afternoon from northwest to southeast. So folks north of I-64, especially in Illinois, may be waking up and seeing that sunshine already. So you may have a full-on sunny day, whereas folks in western Kentucky may be contending with the clouds and the rain through the morning, and it's not really until later in the afternoon that you start to clear out of those clouds. So it is going to be a very gradual process from northwest to southeast, but that sun should pop back out for everyone by the middle of the day tomorrow. So we will see that sunshine return, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. When I show you the 7-day, you'll know what I'm talking about. But earlier today, we climbed all the way up into the mid-70s, even upper 70s in a few spots. 78 here in Evansville. We were actually parked north of that front. Areas south of that front climbed all the way up into the 80s and lower 90s, which is why they had that thunderstorm threat. 92 there in Bowling Green, 87 out towards Lexington. So really almost a 10-degree difference there between Evansville and Lexington. So that's just kind of the smaller scale setup and kind of wrenches that these fronts can kind of throw in at you. But here's a look at our current temperatures. We've cooled down a good bit. Most of us are sitting in the upper 60s, a few spots hanging out around 70, especially across western Kentucky, 70 in Madisonville, 67 to the north there in Henderson, sitting at around 68 here in Evansville. And we'll continue to drop down into the mid to upper 50s overnight tonight. And again, that's going to be moving in along with that rain, and that'll clear out of here by late tomorrow morning. So here's a look at your day tomorrow. It'll be another cool and refreshing day. Once the clouds clear out of here, we'll see that sunshine. Temperatures climb back up into the mid-70s with lower humidity as well. So it'll feel like fall, very fall-like weekend is setting up for us here. So here we are, 9:30 tomorrow morning. We're already starting to see the clouds clear out of the northwestern half of the tri-state, still hanging on to a few showers and some clouds across western Kentucky. But by the time we get into the afternoon, we should see that sunshine break out across the entire region, and we'll have a sunny end to our Saturday. And then again, sunshine continues into the day on Sunday as well. But looking at your weekend forecast, still cool and comfortable even for the second half of the weekend there, but it doesn't last forever. We are going to start to warm back up to around average or even above average by the time we get into the middle and end of next week. So here's what that temperature trend looks like. So we'll be well below average for the weekend. into the 70s, even into Monday. It's not until Tuesday that we start to break back up into the mid to upper 80s, and then by Thursday, it is certainly possible that some folks may be flirting with 90 degrees again. So summer isn't going anywhere. I know we had a nice little break here with temperatures in the 80s and 70s. It's been very comfortable, but just a little reminder, you know, summer does not end until later in the month. So we are still looking at summer-like conditions even as we get into next week. So enjoy the cooler temperatures while they last, and also enjoy the dry time, because while we're going to be heating up, we're also going to be entering or continuing to stay within this drier pattern we've had. The Climate Prediction Center highlighting that there again, the Ohio River Valley and the Mississippi River Valley is kind of getting the bullseye of this drier outlook for you. The brown color indicating less precipitation is likely through the next 6 to 10 days. So looking at our drought monitor, this actually updates every Thursday. The worst of the drought across the U.S. still hanging out across the west. So the Mountain West, areas like Colorado, Wyoming, down into New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, those places are all dealing with drier than normal conditions. It's very typical for this time of year, but it's also kind of helping to fuel the fires that are going on across the West Coast. But here in the tri-state, or specifically in the Midwest and along the river valleys, we are also experiencing a little bit of a drought ourselves. Most of us are within this abnormally dry area, that yellow color, not quite drought yet. However, we do have some moderate drought being observed along the Ohio River and across portions of western Kentucky. Now, unfortunately, the rain that's going to be moving in tonight, while it will at least wet the ground a little bit, maybe help wash some of the dust off of your car, I really don't think it's going to be a drought-busting rainfall here. Most of us end up with only a few tenths of an inch, even if that. And the most of that rain looks like it's going to be falling just outside of the tri-state as well. So not expecting a whole ton of drought-busting rain through tonight. And then if you look at our rainfall accumulation through all of next week, so this is actually playing in the future, we should typically be seeing some amounts added into this, but we're just going to end up being so dry we're not picking up on any measurable precipitation through the entirety of next week, according to this. So still going to be quite dry, so no concerns with rain outside of tonight. Now, outside of the viewing area, we do still have some activity going on. We've got the tropics to talk about. We're entering kind of the peak of Atlantic hurricane season, but we are actually taking it over to the Pacific right now. This is Hurricane Kiko. It's got wind speeds sustained of around 130 miles per hour and is moving west-northwest at around 10 miles per hour, and it is taking aim on Hawaii. Now, it does look like the center at this point in time is going to pass just to the north, and thankfully, it won't maintain its major Category 4 strength. It is going to weaken here through the weekend, and then by the beginning of next week, it'll be dropping down into a Category 1 hurricane and eventually to a tropical storm as it passes closest to the Hawaiian Islands. But still likely going to cause a lot of rough surf and some unfavorable vacationing conditions. So if you do know anyone that's kind of planning a trip to Hawaii next week, maybe let them know to keep an eye on the tropics. But here in the Atlantic, we have ourselves at least an outlook for some more tropical development. There's nothing there just yet, but there is a favorable area of development here that has about a 90% chance to grow into something over the next 7 days. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that. And just to round things off, here's a look at your 7-day forecast. We've got that cold front moving through currently, and that's going to guide in some showers overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. We'll gradually clear out and dry out through Saturday afternoon, so many of us will still wake up to some clouds and maybe a drearier start to our Saturday, but we'll be ending it on a positive note with some sunshine. And then we'll continue to have sunshine through the weekend on Sunday and through almost the entirety of next week. Look at all those sunny icons, but you'll notice while we'll be cool for the weekend, only in the 70s, we top back out in the upper 80s by the middle of next week, possibly even flirting with 90 degrees by the time we get into Thursday. So that is all I've got here for the forecast. Let me go ahead and check out the comments for you. Laura Gray, she's one of our loyal viewers. She's watching from Dawson Springs. Glad to have you here. Shelly's joining us. She says, good evening and happy Friday to everyone. Happy Friday to you as well. Cheyenne says good evening. William says hopefully he'll get a quarter-inch tonight, and I'll be waiting on your report at 9 p.m. tomorrow night, William, so make sure you don't miss it. And Darlene says good evening. Hopefully we get some good rain. We need it. Hopefully, probably won't be, by definition, good rain, but it is at least some rain, which is good because we've been so dry. But I'm not really expecting a lot of rain overnight tonight, unfortunately. And then Suzanne says, good evening to you. And Patty says it was very pleasant Friday weather-wise, and she gave us a little smiley face. Well, I'm happy you enjoyed it as well. And Jeanette also says good evening. So I'm happy you all are here, but that's all I've got for the forecast. So I'm going to hop off the live stream. I'll send you guys over to 14 News at 10 for all the latest news and weather headlines. Until then, everybody stay safe and have a great rest of your night and enjoy the weekend.